Alright, what is happening, boys? Today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm trying a bit of a different format. So if you do enjoy it, please leave a comment and like below and let me know what you think. So guys, what I'm going to share today is actually nothing new at all, but I did want to kind of go over my own personal experience in hopes that it might help with some of you guys and maybe what some of your lifts are or any hurdles that you might have. So that's what we're going to do today. So one thing I just want you to keep in mind is that having this approach kind of like mentally to your lifts is going to help with all of them. This is not just specific to your bench press. However, it might not be the best technique for you to have if you're into powerlifting, for an example. So basically what I'm sharing today is time under tension. And to explain that simply, I'm going to use the bench press as an example of how this kind of concept works and why it's beneficial to all your lifts. So imagine I loaded up the bench here with 2 plates on either side, 100 kilos. And because 100 is too strong for me, too heavy for me, let's say I can only get 3 reps, and total it might take me 6 or 7 seconds to get those 3 reps. Now imagine I load up the same bench, but I load it up with 80 kilos. 80 kilos is a lot more manageable for me. So let's say I do 8 reps instead of 3, and it takes twice as long to do those reps. Let's say it takes 12 seconds to do those 8 reps at 80 kilos. Basically what time under tension is, it's the time that you spend where your muscles are engaged and under tension from the weight. So the longer you spend under that time, the more effective it is at working at that muscle. So with those 2 examples, lifting the 80 kilos for 8 reps is more effective of a chest workout than lifting 100 kilos for just 3 reps. So to explain how having this approach has changed all my lifts, I need to give a bit of personal context to my whole journey to get here. So go back to when I first started in the gym. I weighed just under 70 kilos and my 1 rep bench at the time was 40 kilos. Fast forward a few years from training, learning as I was going, progressively overloading, I finally built myself up to the point where I hit a 1 rep max of 100 kilos. That was my all-time goal. It was 2 plates on either side and I finally did it. As life would have it, about 2 weeks, roughly speaking, 2 weeks later after hitting that 1 rep max, I woke up in the morning. I had done a chest day. I woke up the next morning and I was just in agony, some of the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and it was coming from my right shoulder. So rushed to the physio, did some ultrasounds, and basically came back and said that I had 2 micro tears in my right pec tendon and 1 micro tear in my bicep tendon, all on the same side of my right shoulder. So because of that, my bench crashed along with all my other weights. I dropped all the way back down to doing 40 kilos on a bench press, and I had basically lost all my progress. I had built my way up to doing 60 kilos again as a solid working weight. And then I decided I want to do YouTube videos. However, this gave me a mental hurdle that I just struggled so long to get over with. The problem for me was that I was following people on Instagram and YouTube that were doing the same type of content that I wanted to do, but all these guys were benching 2 plates, 3 plates, sometimes 4 plates, and here I was benching 1 plate on each side because of this injury, and I just had this mental gap in my mind where I couldn't get myself to do videos because I felt so self-conscious about what I could lift that I didn't do them, and I ended up making a few videos and then basically stopping because I just didn't feel like I was good enough to do what I'm doing now. Then I started implementing this approach of looking at the time that I'm spending under tension with whatever lift I'm doing. So basically what that meant for me with the bench press was I stuck to my 60 kilos and I worked on improving my form. I worked on slowing the reps, and overall improving on that lift. And before I knew it, a couple weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, I was bumping that up to 70, and I've just bumped it up to 80 again today for the first time. So the point I want to share today is this: stop worrying about what people might think of you because of how much you can lift. The gym, unfortunately, sometimes can have kind of a stigma around it where people judge you based on what your 1 rep maxes are. I'm telling you, ignore that. It's not good for you, and it's not good for you mentally. It will just break you down. So instead, what I would recommend, stick to a weight that you can feel comfortable doing, and once you've found that weight, work on improving your form, improving your technique, trying to get maybe a few more reps, so you're doing 8 or 10 reps, and you will grow that way. You do not need to be lifting your absolute max to make muscle growth or strength, or make gains in your strength. So that's my advice, guys. I hope it's helped you today. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different style of video as well. So like I said before, if you did or you didn't, just leave it in the comments below, and I really appreciate it, and thank you all for checking in.